So today topic we are going to discuss about DevOps. It is just like a demo session. In this session, we are going to see what exactly DevOps is, why we need DevOps in software industry, what are the opportunities for the DevOps engineer, and who can learn the DevOps, and is it possible to switch between the technologies in the companies that we are going to discuss in today's session. First, let's see what is meant by DevOps. What is the purpose of the DevOps engineering software industry?
Chandu, we are unable.
Yeah.
I'm unable to hear your voice. Can you speak little louder?
Still, you are not able to hear my voice now.
Yeah, it is. We are hearing, but it is very low.
Okay. Still, we are getting same issue, or
No, now it is
Now,
okay.
now, okay, sir.
no? Okay. Okay. See, what is meant by DevOps? What is the purpose of the DevOps engineer? Suppose let us assume that we are working on one application like IRCTC. Suppose I got this project, I want to implement this IRCTC application. You want to implement this IRCTC application in the software industry. What are the roles are there? First, what we need to do? We are going to have a developers in this company, right? We are going to have a testers. Like this, we do have so many members, like Linux admin, database admin, like DB admin, different kinds of roles, business analyst, project manager, right? Scrum master. There are different kinds of roles to play in order to implement IRCTC application. But where exactly DevOps engineer is going to fit in software lifecycle? Suppose if we all want to implement IRCTC application, first we need to have a developers. What is the purpose of the developers? What is the purpose of the developers? Developer is going to write down the source code for an application. Okay? He is going to write source code for an application. Source code is nothing but either he can write in Java or .NET or Perl or PHP or any scripting language or any programming language. That we are not going to bother about it. That is the responsibility of the developer to write down the source code. Source code means that it could be a Java file or a .NET or PHP or Perl or Python, any programming language or any scripting language. That is the responsibility of the developers. Let us assume that they have written some 50 files. Let us assume that I have taken 3 employees to work on IRCTC application. So we have 3 developers. What is the role of the developer? They are going to write down the source code for an application. 3 developers are going to write down the source code. Suppose after 3 days, developers are saying that boss, we gave some certain task to that people. Like IRCTC can't be implemented in 1 day or 2 day, right? We are going to cut down into pieces and we are going to create as a stories and we are going to create some tickets in a Jira. Jira is a bug tracking tool there. We are going to create some tickets and we are going to assign those tickets to the developers. At the end of 3 days, they are saying that we are done with the task. Let us assume that T developers has created some 30 files. 30 Java files has created. Developer 1 has created some 10 files after 3 days. Developer 2 has created some 10 files after 3 days. Developer 3 has created some 3 files after 10 days. They want to deliver these files to the customer. Customer is nothing but IRCTC. Customer, client, end user, live, all are same names. Okay, so we want to give these files to the IRCTC people, whoever ask us to implement the application. But how will you collect these files from the developer 1, developer 2, developer 3? For a classroom purpose, I am talking about only 3 developers. But in real time, we are going to have n number of developers. How will you collect the files from them? Who is going to consolidate those files? Okay. The ultimate goal is we need to test the application before delivering the application to the customer. In order to test it, we need to deploy it. If you want to do a deployment, we need to create a var file or a jar file. That is the procedure we have. Every company will follow the same procedure. Once developer has committed the files, once developer has created a files, we need to create as a bundle. Either it could be a jar, or it could be a tar, or it could be a var, or it could be a tar.gz. It depends on the company. It depends on the application. It depends on the requirement. Some companies they may create var file. Some companies they create a jar file. Some companies they create a zip file. Some companies they create tar.gz file. But we are not the people to decide it which extension need to be created. Okay, the product owner or a development management will tell us. So our ultimate goal is we need to create a var file. That we need to do the deployment and we need to ask the testing team to test the application. Suppose who will take care of the responsibility to create a var file or a jar file? Can you ask testing team state that boss, can you create a var file or a jar file and do the deployment? But testers is saying that no boss, we are responsible for test the functionality of an application. We are not the responsible for we are not the responsible persons to create a var or a jar. Then who will do it? Developer is not doing, tester is not doing. In the middle, developer and a tester, we are going to have one role that is called DevOps. DevOps. DevOps, the complete meaning is here we have a separate team that is DevOps team. The name itself it is indicating Dev plus operation. OPA stands for operations. The name
Operation.
itself it is indicating development plus operations. So we are taking care of the operations of the development team. We are in the middle of tester and a developer. You can ask the question. Nowadays only we are hearing this technology name like DevOps, but how this was handled before, right? Earlier days we don't have this DevOps. It's become more popular from last 10 years only. Before that, how it was managed in the software industry. That we'll see it later. Okay, first let's see the responsibility of the DevOps engineer. He is going to take care of the operations of the development team. So as a DevOps engineer, you need to collect the files from the development team. For classroom, I'm talking about only 3 developers. In real time, think that if you have a 2000 employees, 2000 developers are there. They are writing the source code. How will you collect the files from them? Can you ask them to send through email? No, because consolidate of all those emails, it's very difficult for us. Can you ask them to put it in some shared location? Shared location. It is something like this, IBM slash data like this. This is the network team is going to create this shared location. Anyone can put the files from that location and anyone can take the files from that location. But suppose let us assume that if you create a shared location and if you ask the developer state that boss keep the files in that location. If somebody has deleted a file, do you know that one? No, because we need to have a proper track of the files. We are going to have n number of questions later. Who modified the file? At what time he modified the file? Which line he modified? For which purpose he modified? For all those questions, you should answer it because you are the admin. You are the responsible for person to collect the files from all the developers. So share location is not working out. Asking them to send through email is not working out. Then they realize that they need a tool to maintain these things. That is called source code management tool. Source code management tool. Or else you can call it as a version control tool. There we do have one tool to maintain these things. We do have a number of tools for this. Approximately 25 plus version control tools are available in the market. What are those? CVS, ASVN, Git, Staircase, PVCS, EFS. Like this, we have 25 plus version control tools are available in the market. What is the purpose of this version control tool? Version control tool is used to store the source code of an application. That's all. I am the admin for this version control tool. I will give the access. It is as simple as like a Google Drive. It is as simple as like a Google Drive. You are the admin for the Google Drive. Then you will allow the developers to put the files into this one. Okay, so as a DevOps engineer, your primary responsibility is to maintain the version control tool. You are the admin, and developers are the users for the version control tool. Okay, you are the admin. You are going to maintain this version control tool. This is our first responsibility. If you go on attend any interview, they will ask like first question is what is your roles and responsibility in your company. The first answer is we are mainly responsible for maintaining the version control tool. Initialization, you are going to do it. Installation of version control tool, you are doing it. Maintenance, you are doing it. If something goes wrong, you are responsible. And you will give the access on these version control tools to the developers so that they can start uploading the files to the version control tool. We are going to have some different naming terminology here. Uploading a file, I am going to call it as a push. Downloading the files, I am going to call it as a pull. Like this, we have some naming conventions that we are going to discuss in detail in our regular classes. So DevOps engineer responsibility is to maintain the version control tool. Why you are maintaining? To store the source code of an application. If you have 4,000 people or 5,000 people or 400 people or 40 people, no bother. Because you are giving the access on the version control tool and you are asking to put the files into the version control tool. That's all. Okay, let us assume that in the version control tool. So keep in mind that in order to install this version control tool, we need to take one Linux server or a Windows server, preferably Linux server. That means we need to take one Linux server. Inside that Linux server, you need to install Git. And one more question. Shall we need to learn all these version control tools or any one is fine? Answer is any one of the version control tool is fine. But nowadays, everybody is trying to use Git. But why? Why can't they are using CVS? Why they are not using S1? Why not ClearCase? Why only Git? Because Git have some advantages that we will discuss in detail in our classes. I will show you how to do the installation of the Git. I will show you how to upload the files. I will show you how to download the file, and I will show you some admin level activities in the Git. Every company, every DevOps engineer is going to do this activity. Okay. So let us assume that installation you are taking care of it. That means you are the admin of the version control tool. Second question. Let us assume that 30 files were uploaded into the version control tool. 30 files were uploaded into the version control tool. That means that in the Git server you have 30 files now. The Git server, how many files you have? 30 files. After 3 days, development manager will drop an email to us. State that, boss, we have uploaded some 30 files. Just go on, create a build and deploy it to any application server and then test it. If you say that testing is completed successfully, then we are going to give these files to the client. That means to IRCTC people. Now the question is, I want to create a WAR file. So what should I need to do now? There are some steps to do it now. First, I need to download files. I need to download First I need to download a files from it. But in classes we will see how to download a file from a Git. Okay, download the files from Git. Next, you need to create a WAR file, or it could be a WAR or a jar or anything. You need to create a package. Who is going to decide which package you need to create? That is going to decide by the development team. Okay, but in between you need to compile the files also. This is mandatory. If you're not doing the compilation, how will you make sure that your source code was correctly written? You need to compile the files. Okay, so that means you are doing three activities as a DevOps engineer: downloading the files from Git, compiling the files, creating a WAR file. But it seems that it is a manual procedure. Download the files, compile the files, create a WAR. Instead of doing it manually, we want to eliminate these all the things with automation. By using which tool? We do have build tool available in the market. Is that build tool are available in the market? Okay, what are the build tools are available in the market? We do have so many build tools are available in the market again. Yeah. Ant is one build tool, Maven is the one build tool, Gradle is the one build tool, and Ant and then MS build. Like this, we do have build tools. Which one we need to use? Most preferably Maven, but some companies they are using Gradle as well. This is a tool to download the files, compile the file, create a jar. Here we are going to write down some script that is in XML format. Who need to write down the script? DevOps engineer write down the script. How many times you need to write down? Only one time. Because next time if they ask after 3 days again they uploaded some files. Again they will send an email to us state that boss go and trigger a build. Again I need to do the same procedure. I need to download the files, I need to compile, I need to create a var. So we already have XML format script here. Whenever you got a request, that request I'm going to call it as a build request. That is the terminology we are going to use in real time. Whenever you got a build request, you are just going to call your XML file because your XML file has written to download the files, to compile it, to create a var. To implement those three activities, we have pom.xml file. Suppose in case of Maven, you need to write down pom.xml file. If you are using AND, you need to write down build.xml file. In that XML file, you are going to write down the script to download the files, to compile, to create a var. Whenever development team is completed the work, they are going to drop an email to us. State that boss go and create a build. At that time, I simply call my build.xml file or else pom.xml file so that it will take care of it because I have already written the script to implement those three activities: download, compile, create a var. Let us assume that what is the end output of the build tool? Let us assume that that is a var file because you have written the script to create a var. So you have a var file. After that, what you need to do? You need to do the deployment of this var file in the application server. What are the application servers are available in the market? Either it could be in a Tomcat or WebSphere or WebLogic. These are the application servers. Just a second, guys. I'm getting a call. Yeah, guys. So whenever you got a build request, you are just going to call build.xml file or a pom.xml file. So the output of the build.xml or pom.xml is creation of a var file. That var file, I'm going to do the deployment in either in Tomcat or WebLogic or WebSphere. How will you do the deployment? It's just a manual procedure. I want to eliminate this one. I want to eliminate the procedure. Again, you need one more tool to automate the process. Okay. Let us assume that whenever you got a build request, you are simply calling the pom.xml file and you are generating a var file and you are doing the deployment of the var file. Suppose developers is sending the build request at evening at 6:30 because their office timings is 9:30 to 6:30. Till 6:30, they are writing the source code of the application. While leaving the office, they are just simply sending the request to you and then they are leaving the office. At that time, you are sitting in the office just to call pom.xml file or a build.xml file and you are sitting ideal to generate the var file. After that, you are doing the deployment and you are leaving the office. Suppose if developers are staying 1 hour late and they are sending the build request at 8 o'clock or else sometimes 8:30 or else sometimes 9:30. Is it okay for you to sit in the office to receive the email and to work on the activity and then leave the office? Because your manager will bother about when you are coming to the office. He will not at all bother when you are leaving the office. Okay, whenever you are coming in the office, that time he is going to monitor it. But when you are leaving, he is not at all bothered about it. But every day you are getting build request at 9:30 or 10:30, and you are sitting in the office just to call the build.xml file, and you are waiting till it create a var, and then you are doing the deployment and you are leaving the office. but I don't want to do like that one. Just to call the builded XML file or formatted XML file, I don't want to sit in the office. It should take care somebody else. Who will take care of that? For that, we do have a tool that is called Jenkins. The tool name is continuous integration tool. But you should be very careful. You should clearly understand what is meant by continuous integration. That I will tell in detail in the classes because you are going to see some practical stuff over there and then you can understand this topic. Continuous integration is very, very important in DevOps engineer. Okay, continuous integration tool. I am using a Jenkins and I have a facility to set the time also. In the Jenkins, I have a facility to set the times also. Let us assume that you are getting the build request every day at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Simply, I can put a time slot at 9 o'clock. By that time, all the developers will commit the files, right? So 9 o'clock, Jenkins will try to call the permanent XML file. It will wait till it create a var file, and then Jenkins will do the deployment to the Tomcat. I don't want to sit ideal in the office. I gave my responsibility to somebody else. Who is that? I gave it to the Jenkins. Jenkins will take care of it. Jenkins has a capability to call your build.xml file on a particular time that you can configure it. Keep in mind that Jenkins, it is as simple as like an app in your phone. In your mobile, you are going to have some apps, right? And you are going to put some configurations over there. Suppose if you have a reminder app, you are simply selecting at what time it should remind you. The same way in Jenkins also, it is just like simply you can select the options so that it will call permanent XML file and it will create a var and it will do the deployment into the Tomcat. Once you do the deployment into the Tomcat, you just simply share the URL to the testing team so that they can start testing of an application. So Jenkins will take care of it. Now here one more question. How many tools are available as a continuous integration tool? We do have so many. You have a Jenkins and you have a Hudson and you have Team City, have Bamboo. These are all continuous integration tools. Which one you want to use it? Which one is most popular nowadays in the market? Jenkins is most popular. Why? Because it have its own advantages that we'll see in detail in the classes. Okay. So you're doing the deployment and you are giving the URL to the testing team so that they can start testing an application. Tell me what is meant by testing of an application. Suppose let us assume that we are implementing Gmail. I am the developer. I implemented Gmail. I gave it to you to test it. What you will test? Will you test source code or will you test functionality? As a tester, you are going to test the functionality only. You are not going to test source code because you doesn't know anything about source code. If you know source code, if you know Java, you are going to become a developer, but you are a tester. Means that you are just going to check the functionality only. What is meant by functionality? Suppose I have written the source code to implement Gmail. Suppose let us assume that I am a tester now. I want to test the application. In the browser, I am going to open the URL and I am going to test it. Login, username, password, and then login. I will not give login name or password name. I will simply click on login. The expected result is please enter username and password. That I am going to call it as one scenario. Next time, I will give only username. I will not give password. I will simply click on login. The expected result is please enter password. That is one scenario I will test it. Suppose if I give only username, if I don't give password when I click on sign in, suppose if it allows, that means it is an issue because it should not allow without entering password, but it is allowing. That means it is an issue. One test scenario was failed. That information I need to pass to the development team. State that, boss, this is the scenario we have tested. These many scenarios I have tested. In this scenario, our output is failing. The expected result is failing. So that they can start working on that particular issue again. Okay, it can't be like that. Whenever the development team have written the source code, once they deliver to the customer, once they deliver to the testing team, all every scenario is going to be perfect. No. Testing team need to test it. That is the responsibility of the testing team. Next time they will give username and wrong password and they will click on sign in. The expected result is please enter correct password. Suppose if it is not giving the message, it is simply allowing, even though you are giving a wrong password, it is allowing to Gmail. Then that is an issue that we need to report to the development team. Okay, this is kind of functionality testing is going to done by testing team. Our ultimate goal is from development, it should reach to the client. From the development, it should reach to the client. In every phase, DevOps engineer is required. For developers, you need to help it. For testers, you need to help it. That is the reason the name itself is indicating development plus operations. That means whatever the operations that are involved that are going to be engaged by the DevOps engineer. DevOps is a kind of process. Keep in mind, DevOps is not a tool. DevOps is a process. In order to accomplish this process, in every phase, we have a tool to support us to fulfill the requirement from the starting, from the implementation of an application till it reaches to the client. We do have a different phases. For every phase, you have a tool to support us. Otherwise, you need to do it manually. That is not good practice in software industry. And that too, you can't do it anyway. Okay. So DevOps is a process in order to fulfill the process from starting to ending. Starting is nothing but start implementing the source code for an application. Ending is nothing but till it reaches to the customer. There we are going to have different life cycles here. Like once you are going to test in some server, and after that we need to test it in load performance. That we need to test it, and after that we need to do integration testing. Those are different kinds of roles need to play as a DevOps engineer. Okay. So these are the tools we are going to learn in our classes. Apart from this, nowadays containerization technologies are most popular in market. What are the containerization platforms are available in the market? What is the purpose of the containerization in the market? What are the containerization platforms are available in the market? Docker, Kubernetes, and then Terraform. What is the purpose of the Docker? What is the purpose of the Kubernetes? What is the purpose of the Terraform? What is the purpose of Docker, first of all? Suppose let us assume that I have implemented Outlook. I hope everybody knows what is meant by Outlook. It is as simple. It is as simple as like a email exchange server, as simple as like a Gmail. I have implemented Outlook. I'm going to call it as it is a product. I want to sell my product to some companies like TCS or IBM or Infosys. When I go to their office, they are stating that, boss, I don't know how to install your app. I need your assistance. At that time, what I should do? I need to go to TCS office. I need to take the laptops from each developer. I need to install first third-party dependent softwares, and then I need to implement my Outlook in their laptop. That means you are installing some third-party tools. Like suppose if I take your laptop, I need to install OS in your laptop, and then hope let us say them down. It requires Java. Suppose if it requires some database, I need to install it, and then only I need to implement Outlook in your system. Without having OS, is it possible to install a software in your laptop? No. Without Java, without DB, my application will not work out. So I am installing some third-party dependent softwares in your laptop, and then I am installing my product in your laptop so that you can start accessing Outlook. Then TCS management is saying that, boss, it is working fine in one of the developers' laptop. Let's do it in all the developers' laptop. It's very difficult for me to install the same product in 15,000 laptops. No, it's very tedious job. I can't do it. What should I do? I need to automate the process. How will you automate the process? Here, what I should do is I will use some containerization technology like a Docker. How you can achieve this one? In the Docker, what should I do is I will write down some Docker file. Inside the Docker file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the steps to install OS. I'm going to put the steps to install Java. Again, to install DB. and then to install Outlook. That means whatever I want to do it in your laptop, everything I am putting in a Docker file. Everything I am putting in a Docker file. Whatever I want to implement in your laptop, I am putting everything in a Docker file. And then I'm going to build the Docker file. I'm going to build the Docker file. When you build a Docker file, you will get a image. That image I'm going to call it as a Docker image. But how will you take the image from my laptop? I will put it in some location that is called Docker Hub. It is as simple as like a Google Drive again. Yeah. We're going to have a Docker Hub. Inside Docker Hub, I am going to upload my file. And I will ask you to download from Docker Hub. Okay. I'm going to create a Docker file and I'm going to create an image so that the image will get and I will upload in a Docker Hub. Okay, and I will give the access on the Docker Hub so that you can download from a Docker Hub. Okay, and it can be reusable. Anyone can download a file from a Docker Hub. Okay, so in my laptop, I will download the Docker image. In your laptop also, you can download Docker image. After that, I need to run the Docker image. Run the image so that container will be created. What is meant by container? It is as simple as like a folder. Okay, that folder will consist of all the dependent softwares and all Outlook related files in your laptop without any manual interruption. As a Outlook owner, what I did is I created a Docker file. Inside my Docker file, I have placed whatever the things that need to be done in your laptop. Those instructions I have created in a Docker file, and then I created as an image and uploaded in a Docker Hub. And I gave access to you so that you can download the image and you can create a container. When you run the image, container will be created. Container is nothing but it is simple as like a folder. Suppose if you install Skype in your laptop, it will create a folder in your laptop. Am I right or wrong? In C program files x86, you can see one folder with Skype name. If you delete Skype folder, can you able to launch Skype in your laptop? No. That means C program files x86 Skype folder consists of all the files which are required to launch your Skype application. The same way here also. When you create a container, the folder will be created. Inside the folder, you have some files which are related to Outlook. But in our classes, we will see how to create a Docker file, how to create an image, how to upload to Docker Hub, how to download Docker Hub from Docker Hub, how to create how to run a container, how to create a container, how to stop a container. If container gets failed, how to debug an issue. This is our day-to-day activity in real time. Okay, then what is meant by Kubernetes? Why we need Kubernetes? Because in Docker we have some disadvantages. We do have a Docker Compose. We do have a Docker Swarm. There we have some disadvantages. That's the reason we are moving on to Kubernetes. Nowadays, everybody is trying to make use of Kubernetes as a containerization platform in their companies. And then we have one more tool that is called Terraform. What is meant by Terraform? What is the purpose of the Terraform? Nowadays, keep in mind that they are not habited to maintain the servers in their office premises. That is called on-premisized environment. Let us assume that I am working for IBM. I need some 50 servers to work on some application. But my company is not in a position to allocate that much budget to this project because of budget constraints. They are not in a position to allocate that much for infrastructure. So what should I do? AWS is there or Microsoft Azure is there. What they will do? They are maintaining some servers. They are just giving on a rent basis to us. Instead of purchasing, I'm just taking on a rent basis from Amazon or else I'm going to take from Microsoft Azure. Those people are service providers. Suppose if you need 10 servers, instead of purchasing 10 servers, what you will do? Simply put a request to AWS like Amazon or simply put a request to Microsoft so that they will provide the servers on a rent basis to us. You can launch the server and you can do the work whenever it is not required. You can simply terminate it, and you are just going to pay the money. How many hours you have used? Only for that you are going to pay the money. The rest, no, you don't need to pay it. Suppose if you don't have Amazon or Microsoft in your company, then you need to take on-premise environments. You need to purchase the servers and we need to maintain it, and we need to maintain some people to take care of those servers who need some power backups, who need to take care of the security of the servers. Those are all your headaches because you are maintaining the server. If you want to eliminate all those things, then simply put a request to Amazon, take the servers, just pay the amount for the hours you have used it. Taking the server from Amazon is very simple. But if I want to take 5 servers at a time with the same configuration, instead of do it manually, you want to automate it. In order to automate AWS related stuffs, you can use Terraform. I will show you in classes as well. The first class itself will show you how to take the server from AWS. I will show in both the ways, like from UI how to take the server, or from the script how will you take the server. That is from Terraform. Terraform will try to automate your entire infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but it is a servers. And instead of maintaining in your office premises, you are taking from a service providers. Earlier days, every company will maintain in the office premises. Why they gave a thought? Why it got a thought to Amazon or Microsoft? Why they are not? All the companies are not approaching this on-premises environment. Why they are moving towards cloud technologies? Because they do have a big reason behind this one. Why they want to switch to cloud environment? Why not on-premises environment? Twin towers crash in USA. At that time, every company is trying to maintain their servers in that building itself. Once it was crashed, they are completely zero because they don't have data. They don't have their source code. They don't have their databases because everything was collapsed. By the time only they started thinking of it, why we are maintaining the servers only in one place? Why can't you maintain in different regions? Why can't you sync the servers in different regions? Based on it, they will charge you. I need a server from AWS. Suppose if they charge like $50, I will tell to them, state that boss, maintain one server for me in USA and another in Canada. Sync between those two servers. Whatever I have updated in USA region, that should be updated in Canada also. If something is happened in USA region, still I have a data in Canada region. Based on your requirement, they will charge from you. Suppose if you are asking to maintain in 4 different regions, they will charge $100. Suppose if you state that boss, I need a server only in USA region, then they will charge only $25. Those type of benefits you are going to get if you go for a cloud technology. I no need to take care of Linux administrator. I no need to take care of environmental issues. I no need to take care of security related issues because that burden is going to take care by the cloud vendors like Amazon or Microsoft. They will take care that responsibility and they will simply give a system to you whenever it is required. And you are just paying the money and then making use of it. That's all. That is the reason nowadays every company is trying to use either Microsoft Azure or else Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Okay. In detail that we are going to learn in our classes like AWS. And if time permits, then I'm going to give some knowledge on Azure DevOps also. Keep this as a side at this moment, but if time permits, then I can touch base this Azure DevOps also. This you can't understand now itself. Once you are done with the classes, then you can come across this Azure DevOps. Apart from this, you are going to learn one more technology that is called one scripting language we are going to learn that is called Python. After that, one configuration management tool we are going to learn that is called Ansible. Purpose of the Ansible is to maintain the configurations that you can't understand now. We need to start the classes We need to know the procedure as a DevOps engineer. Then you can understand the benefit of the Ansible. We are going to maintain the same configurations in different phases in development mission, in testing mission, in UAT, in SIT, in production. Have a question. Why we need these many environments? Because we do have a different regions that we are going to learn in our classes. Yeah, now you can ask the questions. You have any questions? Any question?
I have a small question on this actually. What is the uh, basically purpose of this? Jenkins. Is it an build no automation or what is this Jenkins?
It is a continuous integration tool. It will do so many activities like downloading the code, compiling the source code, creating a war file, do the deployment, send the notification to the dev team. These many activities can be done in Jenkins, and Jenkins is a continuous integration tool. It is not a build tool. Yeah,
Hi,
next.
Is
Chandu.
that
So in the build tool we get the war file, right? Dot war file.
Yes, yes. Dot var
So
or dot jar or dot exe or dot tar dot digit, that is going to be decided by the dev team. Based on it, we are going to write down the permanent XML file because you are writing the permanent XML file to create a var. If dev team is state that boss, we want to create a tar dot digit, then you need to write down the script to create a tar dot digit. That requirement is going to comes from dev team only.
okay, so thank you then.
Yeah.
Chandu, Nabil here. What are the topics we need to cover in the AWS and DevOps?
DevOps, whatever the tools I have discussed in the classes, those are going to be covered in AWS. We are going to cover the services which are required for the DevOps engineer because in AWS we would have two different roles. One is admin and the second one is user. Our DevOps engineer responsibility is to maintain some of services.
Okay. So, is there any
will
time?
this
It is sorry.
will this
One.
include will this include
Yeah, come on, one by one.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, once he is complete, then I'll ask.
Yeah, sure.
will this include Python as well in this
Yep,
course?
yep. Yes. I already mentioned, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Next.
Okay, and in order to AWS DevOps, right? It is a continue for
Yeah.
AWS or DevOps,
Yeah.
or else once AWS is complete, then DevOps.
No, first we are going to start with DevOps only, but we need some servers to teach DevOps. Those I am going to take from AWS first.
Okay. Will it be covered for the Linux topic also? Yeah,
Yes.
because it is
Everything
required.
we are going to see it in Linux only, right? Installation
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Git, installation of Jenkins, installation of Tomcat, installation of Docker, installation of Kubernetes, installation of Ansible, Terraform, everything we are going to do it in Linux only.
Okay. So both can we start like in this training? Will it be covered for parallel courses for DevOps, AWS, or else
No.
AWS later?
AWS, I am going to take it later. First,
Okay.
we'll cover DevOps and then it comes to AWS.
Okay. Both how many days will it be covered, Chandra?
I will take roughly 45 days. Every day, 1 hour session,
Both, right?
45 hours. Yeah, all
Okay.
together.
Okay, Chandra. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, Naveen, I have one more question.
Mm.
What's the purpose of Kubernetes here? I mean, maybe I couldn't get it because Docker
Yeah, I
image is
already told that.
you run it, you
Yeah.
get a folder, right? You get folders in the every system.
Yes, that I'm going to call it as a container. Here in the Docker, we do have a concept called Docker Swarm. I will tell you in detail in the classes what is the purpose of the Docker Swarm, and we will see it in practical also. I will show you the commands and I will show you how to create a cluster in Docker Swarm and everything. In Docker Swarm, we have some disadvantages that we will see it in practical. To eliminate this one, how Kubernetes is helping us. That we are going to discuss. In Kubernetes,
Okay.
we are
So
going to
Chandru,
create some pods. We are going to create some more than one container you want to create at a time. In Docker, you have option to create only one container at a time. You want to create a pod. You want to create multiple containers. And the multiple containers, if something goes wrong, immediately, automatically, it should relaunch one more container. These are all
Okay.
kind of facilities are available in the Kubernetes.
Okay. So one more question from my side. Do you train us in Sonar Cube, because that's also some
Yeah,
requirements
yeah.
I'm
Sonar,
seeing.
sonar, sonar. I will take care while we are discussing about Jenkins. We will implement Sonar, we will install Sonar, and we will integrate Sonar with Jenkins also, as well as
Okay.
Nexus also.
Okay. Okay. Next is okay.
Sonar and Nexus both.
Okay. So Chandra,
Nandu,
actually, some
one
of
more.
them, my colleagues actually, they are not new to the development background and they don't have a much knowledge on development activities. So how we can,
Yeah, but
is there any?
see, no, but still, we don't need any development background or a testing background. As a DevOps engineer, if you have some Linux basics, that is fine. If not, then also you can learn the DevOps. We don't require any background technology for it. But if you know, you are more strong. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. So
Thank
on same questions, I mean, do we need any things should know before going to the learn the
No,
DevOps?
no, no.
Uh, as you mentioned that Linux is a fine for now.
But anyway,
Having
we are going
basic
to teach
knowledge on
Linux
Linux. Yeah.
also. But we are going
Okay.
to
Good.
teach Linux also in the initial classes. No need to worry.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do we have
No.
any list
Yeah.
of the syllabus, Chandu, or else we
Yeah, yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
to? Okay.
My team will share to you. No issue.
Okay.
Any other questions?
TestNG, is it also discussed? TestNG?
No. That is for completely related to testers. We don't require test engine, but if you want, I will show you how to integrate test engine with the Jenkins. That we can do it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, fine then. So
Yeah.
Jenkins has a very elaborate role, I guess.
Yes. Jenkins is the most key here in DevOps.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
then.
Thank you guys for joining the session, and my team will get back to you with timings and everything. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandru. Yeah.